Chapter 115, Marriage Proposal. Adrian, pulling and tugging in public isn't very appropriate. Ava poked Adrian's chest with her index finger. In broad daylight. What if they got photographed? Adrian hummed, turned her around, and pulled her outside. Ava had a feeling Adrian had deliberately come to catch her. When they were together before, occasionally she'd tell little lies to go out and eat with Autumn and the others, and Adrian always seemed to have a radar installed on her, appearing just as she was about to finish eating. Then, he'd take her away. But this time, she'd checked her phone. Adrian hadn't installed anything. "Adrian, have you seen Grace lately?" Ava asked casually. After those two broke up, they seemed to never appear together in public again. Though the Hart and Pierce families had many collaborations, they must have met privately. Ava was very concerned, afraid the two would get back together. Adrian looked up at her, his fingertips on his knee curling slightly. Every day. Every day? Ava clenched her hand at her side. Had that lovesick fool Grace lowered herself to go back to Adrian again? Ava's eyes misted over as she imperceptibly leaned toward Adrian. She grabbed Adrian's hand, thick guilt floating in her eyes. "I'm sorry, Adrian. It's all my fault. I made Grace misunderstand. Why don't you arrange a time to meet with her? I'll explain to Grace. She'd definitely add plenty of embellishments. Make Grace give up completely." "Isn't your dance company very busy? You have time to worry about my affairs?" Adrian said with a half smile. Ava cursed inwardly. Would it kill him not to expose her? Damn, man. She really didn't understand what Grace liked about him. "Of course, your matters are more important to me than the dance company." The girl's voice was charming and playful, with a hint of sadness beneath. In an instant, that faint sadness seemed to envelop her entire being. Her beautiful eyes held an inescapable melancholy. "If I'm so important, why did you leave so decisively 7 years ago?" The man turned his face slightly, his refined features expressionless, clearly not believing her words. Ava's brow twitched. She'd been back in the country for a year. Why did he keep bringing up old matters? "Adrian, I'm not lying. Since childhood, you've always been the most important person in my heart. I was just spoiled by you. I thought you'd only be angry with me for a while, then wait for me to come back." A crystal tear fell from Ava's eyes. She lowered her head. Tears fell like broken pearls, one after another, all landing on Adrian's dress pants, creating small wet stains. She'd practiced this crying method in the mirror for a long time. The key was looking pitiful. "If you want me to believe you, bring your household registration book tomorrow morning at 9. I'll come pick you up." Those words left Ava somewhat dazed. What did he mean? Bring the household registration book? Did Adrian want to marry her? She didn't want that. If they got married and her lies were exposed, wouldn't Adrian be able to do whatever he wanted with her? Would she even survive? "Adrian, don't marry me just because you're upset with Grace. Marriage isn't a small matter. I don't want you to regret it forever." Ava's words were full of concern. Adrian almost laughed in frustration. "Is it really because of Grace, or because you don't want to marry me?" Ava's expression stiffened for a moment. After a while, she looked up, gazing at Adrian through tear-blurred eyes. "From the moment I met you, my dream has been to marry you. How could I not want to marry you? I just don't want you to do something you'll regret out of impulse." Adrian raised his hand to wipe away the tears on her face. "Then congratulations. Your dream will come true very soon." Ava. Being too good at acting was also a headache. Adrian believed without question that she loved him. I can't have children." Seeing there was really no other way, Ava could only use her trump card. She didn't believe Adrian, someone like him, truly didn't care about having an heir. "I don't particularly like children." At that, Ava choked on her own saliva. He didn't like children? When he took care of Lily, he didn't look at all like someone who didn't like children. "Adrian, I'm not joking with you. I can't have children. I'm not worthy of marrying you at all. I'm sorry." Ava turned around, leaning against the car window, letting tears fall. This was the first time she'd brought up not being able to have children with someone. After so many years, Whether or not she had children wasn't actually that important to her. She just didn't want it to become a point of gossip, so she didn't want to bring it up with people. But since Adrian was insisting on marrying her, she couldn't worry about all that. The reason she didn't say she was child-free by choice was because she was afraid Adrian would be like Wesley, thinking he could change her. After all, many people who firmly claimed to be child-free before marriage ended up compromising after. "Tomorrow at 9, I'll come pick you up." The car stopped outside the villa. Ava couldn't help but roll her eyes internally. Was this guy unable to understand human speech? Ava suddenly remembered the household registration book was still at the Hart house. She cheered internally, though her face still wore a pitiful expression. But the household registration book isn't in my possession. "Go to the Hart house," Adrian spoke to the driver. Ava's lips immediately drooped. "Adrian, I can go get it myself. If you go to the Hart house now and Dad finds out we want to get married, he definitely won't give me the household registration book." Ava quickly grabbed Adrian's hand. At worst, she'd just say Philip refused to give it to her. That wouldn't be her fault. "Fine, you go get it yourself, but..." Adrian paused, a faint smile curving his lips, his voice somewhat lazy. "I do not want you to tell me tomorrow when I come to pick you up that your dad wouldn't give you the household registration book." Ava's pupils contracted. Was Adrian a mind reader? This made Ava even more certain she couldn't marry Adrian. If she married Adrian, it would only accelerate the exposure of her lies. "No, that won't happen. I'll beg Dad properly. I'll beg him to give me the household registration book." Ava's face was full of sincerity. "If you marry me, I'll give you all the shares under your father's name as a wedding gift." Adrian looked at her intently. Ava's heart jumped hard. All the shares under her father's name. She couldn't help but be tempted. Her dad was currently still the largest shareholder of Hart Group. If all the shares under his name were transferred to her, she would become the largest shareholder of Hart Group in the future. Grace would have to work for her. Just thinking about it made her happy. But she was also a bit afraid to take it. If Adrian had the ability to make her father transfer his shares to her, in the future, he'd definitely have the ability to make her transfer those shares to Grace.